You're watching Saturday Anime on the Sci-Fi Channel.
Greetings, this is Reverend Paul, and this is Studio Chojin Raw. Today, we are going to be talking about the third episode of the Chainsaw Man anime, where we last left our band of intrepid heroes. Makima teamed Denji up with another devil hunter, a fiend named Power. Power is also the blood devil, which means she has very cool blood-based powers, and Power uses her blood-based powers to kill the fuck out of this creepy sea cucumber devil. And even though Power is proud of this achievement, and it was pretty awesome for us to see this thing's fucking guts, Makima shows up and she lets Power and Denji know public safety devil hunters cannot interfere when a civilian devil hunter is about to apprehend a devil. This seems like a strange rule, but it makes sense when you understand that the story is starting to play its hand a little bit and it's starting to expose some of the themes of this narrative. We're going to start to get the impression that freedom in this world is very hard to come by. So after getting reprimanded by Makima, Denji and Power go and chill out in this, I guess it's a break room? I don't know. They're chilling out, drinking sodas, eating chips. And this is where we find out Power and Denji are going to make great allies because they kind of have common goals. Because you see, before Power started working for the public safety devil hunters, her cat, Meowie, I believe in the Japanese language version, they call her Meowko, which I think sounds better. So Meowko was kidnapped by the giant bat devil. When Denji finds out about this, he doesn't really give a shit because all he gives a shit about is touching boobs. But then he realizes Power has boobs, and Power tells Denji, hey, you wanna know what? If you get my cat back, I'll let you play with my tits. And Denji's like, you wanna know what? That's a pretty fucking awesome deal. Let's go fucking kill this bat devil. So Power brings Denji to the lair of the bat devil. And it turned out Power was just fucking with Denji because she fucking knocks him in the back of the head with one of her blood mallets, and she drags his body to the bat devil, and she tells the bat devil, if I give you this human, will you give me back my cat? And this giant bat, he sucks because he doesn't keep his end of the bargain, and he eats Power's cat, he eats Power, he drinks Denji's blood, and then he flies off to do more carnage and mayhem. So finally, Denji has to take matters into his own hands, and then a fucking chainsaw comes out of his head, and he slices this bat motherfucker into colorful mush. I really love the devil's blood and guts. It looks like gory confetti. Hands down, the third episode of Chainsaw Man is the best episode we've seen so far. I think the action sequence that ends this episode is really cool. Denji's fight with the bat devil, I think so far is the one sequence in the anime that I think blows away the sequence in the manga. Particularly, I think when the bat devil's mouth turns into that mouth cannon and he shoots that fucking giant projectile at Denji and Denji gets fucking thrown back. I like the way that was drawn in the manga, but like the impact of that fucking hit works so well in the anime. I think the bat devil fight has a real visceral quality, and you could really hear the fucking impact of all those hits and just the sting of flesh being sliced apart. And in pure tokusatsu fashion, Chainsaw Man kills the bat devil with these really awesome hero shots. And I love the way blood is just raining all over Chainsaw Man. Chainsaw Man is the ultra-violent superhero of the 21st century. Even the bat devil itself, I think, works better in the anime. I love the glowing eyes, and the bat devil in the anime really feels like an otherworldly menace. What I think is interesting when you look at these first 3 episodes of Chainsaw Man is that we can see a pattern starting to develop. Denji doesn't really have a lot of freedom to make his own choices. He's always being manipulated into doing something. In the first episode, he was being manipulated into killing the devils for the Yakuza. The second episode of Chainsaw Man was more of a character building exercise, but omitted from the second episode and contained within the manga is a sequence where Makima forces Denji to kill the muscle devil before she'll feed him some udon. And now, in the third episode, Denji is being manipulated into saving Meowko with the promise of being able to touch Power's boobs. And this becomes even more interesting when we look at another scene in this episode. When Makima is in the car with Aki, Makima explains devils pretty much get their powers from fear. And the scarier the object the devil is connected to, the more power that devil has. So in other words, a coffee devil wouldn't be as strong as a car devil by virtue of the fact that more people are scared of dying dying from a car than from a cup of coffee. Henceforth, a car devil would have more power than a coffee devil. Now, when you start to put all this stuff together, you start to understand Chainsaw Man has the power to kill devils, and devils are powered by fear. So in other words, Chainsaw Man has the power to kill fear. And here, for the first time in the Chainsaw Man anime, we have hit upon one of the main ideas in Chainsaw Man, which is having the power to fight fear. So the fact that this whole episode revolves around Denji trying to touch boobs is a very interesting metaphor. Because when you look at Denji, he's a pretty average looking anime character dude. Denji looks like a guy who, if he put his mind to it, could probably touch as many boobs as he would like. But like a lot of people, Denji gets up in his own head. He's too afraid to go out in the world and try to touch boobs. In the first episode, the idea of touching boobs seemed like an impossibility to Denji. He convinced himself it would probably never happen. But when he turns into Chainsaw Man, suddenly that fear goes away and the power to touch boobs is within his grasp. Chainsaw Man is making the statement about taking power over your fear and to free yourself from the forces that are manipulating you. Pochita told Denji that he would give him the power to make his dreams come true. And Pochita has done that by giving him the ability to kill fear. And if you didn't even think it was possible, the boob metaphor in this plot goes even deeper. Because the entire plot of this story is kicked off when Power tells Denji he could touch her boobs. And that motivates Denji to help Power, that convinces Denji to follow Power to the Bat Devil. But another really interesting thing I think worth pointing out, when the Bat Devil has seemingly devoured Power and Miyako, Denji doesn't summon the power of Chainsaw Man by thinking about Power's boobs. Denji summons the power of Chainsaw Man by thinking about Power and her love for her cat. And Denji thinks about a time when he lost Pochita, and he was so scared he would never find him again, but then was grateful when he finally did. Then Denji starts to think about Power, and when she lost her cat, and she didn't get her back. How devastated she must be. That is what turns Denji into Chainsaw Man. Denji cares about Power, but he's afraid to admit it to himself. He tells himself he only cares about Power's boobs, but that's not true. He cares about her. He's just too afraid to admit it to himself. And the idea of having your freedom restricted is not just applied to Denji. We could also see it with Power, given the fact that she's not allowed to come and go as she pleases. She needs to get permission from the public safety devil hunters before she goes anywhere. This third episode of Chainsaw Man also has my favorite ending sequence, which features a song by Maximum the Hormone, a track called 200 million centimeter long blades. Just like the opening sequence, this track starts with a very cool bass line, and I really love the psychedelic animation, and the music really complements the trippiness of the art style. As I said before, I think this is the best Chainsaw Man episode so far. I think if you're on the fence about Chainsaw Man, I think this is the episode that would make you a fan. And if it doesn't, then I guess this is not a show for you. The first episode of the Chainsaw Man dub also came out this week. I watched that, also very good. I thought it was a solid dub. Altogether, I've been very satisfied with the Chainsaw Man anime. Everything I've seen so far I think has been really cool. And so far for me, the Chainsaw Man anime has been a great companion piece to the manga, and it's definitely lived up to my expectations. But I'd be interested to hear if there are people out there who disagree. I'm always interested in hearing a dissenting opinion. And so going forward, I'm looking forward to seeing how the story develops and the other cool deep meanings and metaphors Chainsaw Man could put in a story about boobs.